Yo, as always, like, share, subscribe. Now let's just get into it. So Michigan just defeated Central Michigan 63-3. And of course, what we all were looking for was how does Michigan respond after losing to Oklahoma? And they responded well with pretty much complete domination, which is what we wanted to see, and also how does the offense look and how do they use Bryce? It was everybody was complaining about Bryce not running against Oklahoma, but in this game we actually got to see him run. We actually got to see him run on the read a few times and off scrambles. And like I said, you got a player like Bryce. If you don't use his legs, you've got 70% of what type of player he really is. And so it was good to see that they came out and they were balanced for the most part, but the running game was a little slower earlier, but it got picked up. The lack of running game from the running backs and the offensive line blocking well for the backs was picked up by Bryce. Bryce almost had 100 yards rushing in this game in the first half. So that was big to see. And, Michigan just controlled the game for the most part, like just executing. If we couldn't get it in the run game, the pass game picked it up. And then the second half, we pretty much just ran it down their throat. Michigan was up, 35-3 at half. And second half, they just killed the clock and ran it down their throats. So the run game picked up later on. Now, before I get into, my analysis, picking it apart a little bit more, one big thing. Michigan ran the ball for 381 yards. But a big thing is the penalties. The penalties are a big thing in this because we left 100 yards of rushing yards on the field, I believe. Well, at least Jordan Marshall had a 30-yard run that was called back because Andrew Marsh was holding. Andrew Marsh has got they want to get him on the field, but he's making too many mistakes on big time plays. And then Justice Haynes took 170, and Afobe was called for a hold. And neither of these holds were make or break. They could have just touched the guy and moved on, and we still probably score touchdowns on it. So you can't have that. That's 100 yards. Now we probably got it back on those drives, but in big time games, you don't know if you're going to get the chance again when you have a running play that's well executed and it goes for a touchdown that you're going to be able to, get it back. But let's see, what was Bryce in this game? Bryce Underwood was 16-25 for 235, 1 TD, 1 pick, and he had 9 carries for 114, 2 TDs. So like I said, he picked up the slack in the run game in the first half. And that's what you need him to do. Because this may be a year where we have to pass to set up the run. So if the quarterback can help pick up some of that slack, that's what you need. You can't be, we're protecting him. No, that's not how you play football. Look like we got a football player out there today. That boy looks like a football player. A playmaker. That's what he is. Let him be that. He looked very comfortable running that ball. So let him do it. So let's just get into some of this stuff. First drive, pretty much all first half, you had a great mix of run and pass. It was beautiful to see. You had Bryce scrambling for yards. He had a couple big-time scrambles where he just looked like he was in control. The game was slowing down for him, and he's just comfortable. Because running the ball on scrambles and things, you don't have to think that much. Bryce, go be an athlete. Okay, I know I can do that. And it was beautiful to see. You saw Justice Haynes get a touchdown. He had about 100 yards in the TD. Samaj had a 40-yard touchdown. Andrew Marsh, he had some mistakes, but he got a reverse and he scored on a touchdown, about 20 yards, I believe, on a reverse. Zavada, I'm not sure what's going on with Zavada. Zavada missed the field goal, and it wasn't that long. It was probably a 35 yarder or something like that, but he missed it. Just didn't get a didn't kick it. He just kind of kicked it straight ahead. You know, the hash marks in college are real wide, and he just kind of kicked it straight ahead. It was to the left. So we need him. He got to get his stuff straight. You know, people been hyping him up, and now he's missing kicks. That's one last week, one this week. So he's got to get better. Bryce had the one TD run on a scramble. Andrew Marsh, the reverse I spoke on. Bryce also threw a interception. He's trying to throw deep. He was scrambling, tried to throw deep. He threw kind of a duck. I don't think he got his feet up under him, tried to throw it with just his arm, and it kind of set up on him. He needs to try to make that throw, which it was kind of double covered. But if you're going to make that throw, you got to drive it. And he didn't really drive it. Looked like kind of a duck, and it got intercepted. You know, but that's something Bryce has to learn. You have to let him make those mistakes. I wish we had more cupcakes for him to make those mistakes against, so it don't really matter, but it is what it is. So he's learning and figuring out the game plan. Chip Lindsey's game plan was great this game. It was a great game plan. You know, the way he was getting the ball to the playmakers, the way he was using Bryce, the way he was using Haynes, the way he was using Marshall. Like, shout out to Alfred for having a good rotation with the backs. Everything was pretty good, like, as far as coaching. Ofobi had the hold that negated the long TD from Haynes, and I spoke on Marsh getting the hold on Marshall's 30-yard run. But Marshall looked better today. You know, it's not saying much. It's Central. I know. But he still looked good, and you want to get him in a rhythm so you can have that law in order, that two-headed monster, you know. Bryce on the play action escape TD run. It was a 4th down, and they did a play action to Marshall, and Bryce makes a guy miss, cuts it back the other way, and shows off that athleticism. Beautiful to see. Beautiful. Kuzdal got in late. I like the way Kuzdal runs. I like the way Kuzdal runs. I'm not going to lie. Straight north and south. No funny business. He's going to find his hole, and he's going to run hard. I like the way he runs. And Jasper Parker also, I like the way he runs as well, and he got a TD. So the offense was just clicking for the most part, whether we were balanced, whether we were putting it on Bryce, whether we were just trying to run it down their throat to kill the clock in the second half. I don't got much to say bad about the offense, except the offensive line run blocking. You know, the offensive line is still a work in progress, you know. But when you got a quarterback like Bryce, he can help them. We had injuries. We had a lot of guys out. Like, Michigan is banged up. Let's see. Amarian Stewart was out. Caleb Anderson was out. Of course, Davis Warren. Tevis Metcalf was out. Mason Curtis was out. Micah Capana out. Donovan Johnson. Jaden Hood was out. GL Hottie, you know, one of the offensive linemen. Of course, Babalola was out for the year. Brady Norton was out. Devin Baxter and CJ Charleston were out. I didn't see Zeke Berry, which is smart. Keep him out. He was questionable, but he didn't play. I didn't see him. Ernest Hausman was questionable, but he played. I didn't see Rod Moore. He was questionable. I didn't see him. Ike Iwuna was questionable. Marlon Klein was questionable. He played. Shamari Earls was questionable. He played. And Mikey Keene was questionable. He did not play. So, on to the defense. Jason Barham played with his hair on fire. They're using him more on the edge, and he was pretty much lights out for the most part. Like, he was lights out. Like, you could tell he was he's hungry and he's trying to get himself paid in the draft. Pretty smart, you know. Yeah. So he was. I think he had 2 sacks and he had a gang of tackles. He probably finished with probably 5 or 6 tackles and 2 sacks. So he had a great day for himself. Great day for himself for Barham. You know, I want these dudes to go out, put up numbers, and get that bag. Chips, weight dip. So that's he definitely helped himself out today. And it's just Central, but the stats matter. Those sacks and things, they matter, you know. Jair Hill got beat on a double move, but he broke it up. But you still got to be patient and don't jump on all those double moves trying to get a pick six, trying to be baby Will Johnson, you know. And when I harp on these things in against cupcake competition, I'm harping on it because you can get away with it against a cupcake, I guess you say. But when you play a big time game, then it gets blown out of proportion. Like, man, these guys are messing up and this and that. Because they left breadcrumbs in the cupcake games. And they're really going to be put to light against in a big time matchup. That's why I always touch on all this little stuff. We had a 4th down stop. Jair Hill got a sack. That was great to see. We saw some of the same run plays that Mateer gashed us with. The QB power, QB counter, I believe, or something like that. But it was the same play design. And for whatever reason, our linebackers are coming up too fast and they're not reading the play. Like, they're not reading the play. So when the quarterback takes it and comes around that edge, there's a hole there and our linebackers aren't there and the quarterback's picking up good yardage. You know, that's kind of what fueled their one drive where they got 3 points, is because they ran that play twice and probably got like 20 yards or something on those 2 plays together. So we have to watch it. We're probably going to keep seeing that play because it seems to give our defense trouble. Like our linebackers are getting caught in the wash and their eye discipline isn't good enough. They're not reading the play and filling that gap. Like, you should have a linebacker seeing the play, filling that gap, and lighting that quarterback up. But for whatever reason, they're getting stuck in the wash or they're not seeing it and getting stuck right there. So that's just something to look out for in bigger games and especially getting up for Nebraska. Dylan Raiola's not that good of a runner, but he definitely can run. And in big-time situations, if you need 2 or 3 yards, you pull that play out. And because if Central can get 8 or 9 or 10 or 11 on it, Nebraska, I know we need to put this in the playbook just in case. A big-time 3rd and 5 or on 1st down trying to get in 2nd and manageable or 3rd and manageable, we're going to see that play again. Let's see. Derek Moore looks hurt or slow, bad eye discipline. I'm not sure why he played. It said I think he was questionable for this game, but he played probably trying to get a couple sacks to, you know, get his mojo going, and, you know, keep that stock up, you know, that you're doing work at least against lower level competition. But he didn't get a sack. He got close once, but he looks slow right now, and he looks like he's hurt. He looks like he's hurt. He's not flying around like the Derek Moore that I know. So he probably should have set this game out to get his health back. He probably should have, but he played. I just didn't like what I saw from him. Just watching it regular. This isn't even after watching the all 22 and things like that. I didn't really like what I saw out of him. Troy Bowles forced fumble, Elijah Dotson interception. So we got to see the young guys when it's actually the game is pretty much over. You get to see some of these young guys or some of these new guys get in the game. That's the way you do it. You let your starters blow them out and dominate and show what's the expectation. Then you start putting in those backups. That's how you do it. And then you get to look at them when the game is over. Not flip-flopping in the first and second quarter when your guys are trying to get in, when the starters are trying to get in the rhythm. So it was good to see that the guys were getting interceptions, getting causing fumbles, wreaking havoc, and dudes getting to go over there and put on the buffs. You know how we do it. We dope over here. You know what I'm saying? Over here with the buff song. I don't know what y'all do to celebrate turnovers, but over here we putting on the buffs, throwing up them deuces. What it do? You know what I'm saying? So this was a good win, good domination for Michigan for the most part. It's just I want to see them. I'm still not seeing the defense fly around like I really want to. I'm still seeing a little guessing and a little hesitation when they should be flying up and gang tackling, like on some screens and different things. I'm not seeing them fly around like I want to. I want to see that gang tackling and flying around where it's like, man, you better get down. I'm not seeing it all the way, you know? So I'm still looking at it to see. You know, I want to see that defense really start flying around, but you have to be confident in what you're doing to do that. You know, Jimmy Rolders, he played a nice amount. Jimmy Rolders a good linebacker, but he's got limitations. He's not fast. He's not a sideline to sideline linebacker. That's just not him. He's just not fast enough. You know what I'm saying? So it'll be interesting to see how much they have him in going forward, which he's going to be in the rotation, and Barham is playing edge more and more. So it's going to be interesting to see how it goes with him. Also, Cole Sullivan, we saw him in, and we saw him. Cole Sullivan's just going to get better and better. I won't be surprised if halfway through the year you see less Jimmy Rolder and way more Cole Sullivan. I think it's just going to happen. It's gonna happen sooner or later, you know. It's all on how fast is Cole Sullivan picking up this playbook, you know. And I think he's gonna keep getting more confident, and you'll slowly see less Jimmy Rolder most likely. But what else? Samaj, I don't like Samaj back there. He still does some bonehead stuff back there trying to catch punts. He does, you know. Sometimes when he just the ball's dropped and it's rolling and it's almost dead, they're around the ball, bro. Don't touch it. He ran up on one and almost like fumbled it a little bit and caught it. Like, bro, Samaj worries me back there. He's too erratic. He's too erratic a little bit. So we'll see. I mean, they got him back there. So let's just hope he gets better. And maybe maybe we get a dividend from him being back there one day. He giving us heart attacks. Maybe he'll give us some highlights, hopefully. But Samaj played pretty well. Let me go through some of these stats, and then we're gonna get out of here, y'all. This ain't nothing big, you know. Playing Central. Let's see. Justin Haynes, 14 carries for 104, a TD, 7.4 yards a carry. Jordan Marshall, 10 carries for 52, 2 TDs, 5.2 yards a carry. Jasper Parker, 9 carries for 45 yards. Kuzdal, 5 carries for 30 yards. Andrew Marsh, 23 yards on the reverse and a TD. Simpson, on a reverse, 10 yards, I believe. Yeah. Receiving, Samaj Morgan, four receptions, 69 yards, and a TD. People talking about Samaj, chill out. Now, if we talking about Samaj on punt return, you ain't got to chill out because he got me scared too. But as a receiver, chill out. Like, nothing this year has shown that Samaj hasn't gotten better. So until he really shows me like, man, he's struggling, stop trying to go at him. Go throw to him. I'm fine with it because he's gotten better and he's not a bad receiver. He's little, but he's still making plays for us. So Samaj was 4 of 69, a TD, 17.3 a catch or average, long of 32. Now he did drop a screen that he might have scored on. So I will knock him for that. He might have had 100 yards if he catches that screen. Hogan Hansen, three receptions, 43 yards, a long of 26. Donovan McCulley, 3 catches for 36 yards, long of 16. Shannon Goodwin, 3 receptions, 33 yards. Andrew Marsh, 1 catch for 30 yards. So it was good to see him. It was good to see him get his mojo a little bit, but he's still making mistakes. You just got to keep trying to get better. All you want to do is keep stacking up good days in practice. Keep stacking up when you do get in the game, stacking up good plays or plays where you held your own. You didn't make a mistake, whether it was a run play or a pass play. You didn't make a mistake. You did your job. Just keep stacking them up. Andrew Marsh is a young player, so he's gonna learn. He's gonna learn. He's gonna keep getting better. But I do like he's a big receiver, and I think he's gonna be big time. So we just gotta go with some of the growing pains because we're gonna need Marsh this year. We're gonna need him. So I ain't gonna be too hard on him, but you gotta clean it up, brother. What else? I think that's about it. We had a few penalties on defense, but nothing too major. They played a pretty clean game. We had a couple penalties on offense, but those were big time holding calls. So they got to clean that up. You don't want to hold, especially when whether you hold or not, it's not going to make a difference most likely on this play. So touch him, and let him go. Because in a big time game, those plays can be the difference between winning and losing. Haynes took 170, gets called back. Marshall takes 133 and it gets called back. That's 100 yards. Like, we can get away with it against Central, against a big time team. You might not be able to get away with it. Let's see. But yeah, Chip Lindsey, he was cooking. The run, whether he was passing it, calling runs, the balance of the offense, using Bryce's legs and not being afraid to use Bryce's legs, it was big time. What we wanted to see. Bryce over 300 total yards, ran for 100, threw for 200. That's the guy we expected to see. Don't hold that young man back. That's who he is. He's not a pocket passer. He's a football player. He's a dual threat. Let him be that. Let him be that. And we'll live with then we can live with whether we win or lose. But if you're not using him all the way, us as fans, we can't live with it. Like, you don't know what you're doing. You got to go. That's going to start becoming the buzz. You know what I'm saying? So it's good to see Chip Lindsey or Sharon Moore, whoever had the game plan, using Bryce and letting him be a football player. That's what he is. You know what I'm saying? So we can live with that. We can live with what we saw from him today. But if we struggling on offense and you're not using one of your biggest weapons to help out the running game, to help out the offense, which is Bryce's legs, if you're not using that, we can't live with it. And we going to want you up out of here. I ain't going to front. You don't know what you doing. You playing it safe, and we trying to win games, and you think you comfortable. We trying to win games, and you comfortable losing. So that's all I got for this one, y'all. Big time dominating win. We got Nebraska coming up. Matt Rule is trying to set a tone and trying to change the culture at Nebraska. So we're going to have our hands full most likely next week, and be on the lookout for the pregame analysis video, and then we're going to get into it. So like, share, subscribe, and as always, go blue.